86 tonight. I am joined by That Gamer,
Hey,
the JLC,
Hi, everybody.
there he is, and also the One Rider.
The Order 1886.
And he has not written any info threads, and it's very disappointing for us all. But we will still march on with the podcast. Tonight we do have 13 topics, including one that's kind of just getting bigger and bigger and bigger as we go along here. So we want to cover that tonight. I think that's the last one. But we got some interesting stuff here. Highlights include the Evolves Day 1 DLC, some reactions to that. Sub accounts can be made, master accounts finally, for PlayStation Network accounts. That's really good. People have been clamoring for that forever. We'll be talking more about that in a little bit. Custom backgrounds are supposedly coming. And then there is the Order 1886 and the controversy on the length of the game. So, video tonight, it's a rehash from some other stuff. I have Diablo 3 and some Final Fantasy 14. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start that now before I forget. The Final Fantasy stuff is fairly long, but just to give you guys a look at the game again, and we'll see more about why that is in just a moment. But so what have you been doing? Gamer, what have you been up to?
I picked up Majora's Mask this weekend, so I've been playing that. Also picked up Little Big Planet because of the flash sale,
Yeah.
so I've been into that as well, and some Destiny.
Destiny. What about you, JLC?
Just finishing off the trophies I was missing for Saints Row, re-elected. And that's about it. I've been pretty busy, so that's the only thing I've been able to play lately.
Gotcha.
By the way, I was thinking of getting Knack since it's what $10 right now. But I have a feeling it's gonna be in the PS Plus party for next month or something. It usually happens that way. You buy something in a deal, and then next month.
The game's alright. It's not like awful like everybody said, but I can definitely see it doesn't, it's still not as great as, some of the other options you had at launch. It's not like terrible, it's just not particularly good. It's just okay, I mean, if you like to trophy hunt, so maybe that would be worth playing for you, but for a lot of people it's just not quite worth the effort. And is that flash sale still going on? I thought it ended sometime today.
Not sure.
Oh,
Maybe
well.
start a new one.
They might have, who knows. But yes, Ryder, what about you? What have you been up to?
Over the weekend, I actually beat Shadow Warrior finally, and it was fairly good. Very funny. It kind of went into a serious story mode near the end, which wasn't bad, but just out of the ordinary for the game. And then I started playing Far Cry 4. I actually did the alternate ending, which allows you to beat the game in 15 minutes, which was interesting. But after that, I'm going to continue playing it. I really like the fact that it's one of the few titles that caters to beta owners. And for those who don't know, when I say when a PS4 developer caters to a beta owner, I'm talking about the remote play. Very few developers actually try and develop a control scheme that would work well if you're remote playing your PS4 game to your Vita. I think there was a few like Destiny and Diablo, and I'm not sure of others, but this one, as soon as you went remote play, it flashed on screen what your controls were for the Vita. So that was really cool.
Yeah, they actually, it's the only game I know of that actually natively supports PlayStation 4 controller on the PC. You don't have to use any kind of weird, Xbox 360 controller emulator or anything like that. I mean, it simply works, and it's actually pretty cool because it's giving you all the correct button prompts, and you're not like, oh, what is X on the PlayStation controller? And it's not the cross at the bottom; it's the one that's going to be on the left, so it's square. You don't have to do all that, and it's not a huge deal, but it can be kind of annoying when you're actually looking at it and trying to get used to everything. But Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool as well when you look at that. So they really put some time into some of that stuff. But for me, I've just been playing, mostly been playing Final Fantasy. I did pick up Little Big Planet 3. I have not really messed with it yet in the sale. I also picked up that Jack Party Ultimate Box, whatever it's called. And that looks like that's going to be entertaining at the least. I think we're going to try to see if we can get a game going over the net and see how that goes. Not sure just yet, but we're hoping that's going to kind of work out. And from my just brief testing, I think it might. But beyond that, not a whole lot. I'm trying to think of anything else that has really happened, and not really anything. So yeah, just Final Fantasy. I finally got to level 50 and been working on. I think the next thing I'm going to level up is my my healer. So I'm going to try to get to a white mage, but I've got a level 50 paladin right now. But yeah, that's basically it. So the drop this week, we have, once my page loads, we have Dead Man's Cross on the Vita. And that looks to be, head to head. Oh, it looks. It's not really sure. I'm not really sure what that one is. It doesn't. It talks about sniper rifle and etc. But I don't know if that's like a shooter or what exactly it's going for. But we also have Dead or Alive 5: The Last Round. So I would guess that they cannot release another version since they're calling this the last round. But I guess they could release like Dead or Alive 5 Last Round Ultimate or something like that next.
Yep.
Hand of Fate on PS4. That one may actually be somewhat cool. I don't know. I haven't messed around with it, but it did seem interesting. From when I was looking at the early access on PC, I didn't actually get to play it, but I saw some stuff about it. The Order 1886 on PS4 hits Friday instead of tomorrow. Pavarazzi on PS4, and it's a 2-player game of cat and mouse. So it looks like kind of a puzzly type of game. Pillar hits PS4. Go ahead.
The Order 1886 doesn't come out on Friday?
Yeah, I said that. It comes out Friday rather than tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
That's right. So Pillar is apparently a collection of mini games. Woohoo!
Oh boy.
Keybert rebooted on PS4, PS3, and Vita, and that is cross-buy. Treasures of Montezuma is on PS3 now. That's a free-to-play game that came out on Vita. It's kind of a match 3 type game, I think, kind of like Bejeweled or something like that. Trivial Pursuit Live is on PS4 and PS3.
Is that like a wannabe Buzz game? That's what it looks like?
No, it's like a Trivial Pursuit game.
Oh, okay.
It says a modern twist on the world's most well-known trivia game. I don't know what the twist is, though. So that I'm not really sure about. But, yeah, if you're into trivia, that's definitely one to look at. For those unfamiliar, Trivial Pursuit is exactly what it sounds like. You'll have this question, and then it will ask you about some really minor detail about it. Like, it's like in... when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about like the movie Little Big League. At the very beginning of the movie, it's a baseball movie. At the very beginning, this kid and his grandfather are asking each other baseball trivia questions, and one of them's like, I forget the year. I always forget the year, but it's the most famous call in sports. The Giants won the pennant. The Giants won the pennant because I believe it's Bobby Thompson had just hit the home run to win the National League pennant, or actually, National League pennant, I believe. And then his question to his grandson was who was on deck. Not who hit the home run, but who was on deck. And so, it's stuff like that. It's really, trivial details, hence Trivial Pursuit. But yeah, anything for you guys this week? Anything that really sticks out to you?
Get in that order.
Nothing's out of order? Wow.
Yes,
Dead or Alive 5 can be some kind of, fighter fun. You've obviously got the crazy physics that they like to include, but, it's still a basic fighter. It's not something that's going to get super technical like a Blaze Blue or anything like that. But it can have some fun in that. Obviously the only thing about that is the game's been released like 4 times or something already.
The thing is, that's technically one of the first 3D fighters on the PS4. And I say technically, Guilty Gear Xrd is technically in 3D as well, but...
well, I mean, Guilty Gear and Injustice are both 3D, but they're both take place mostly on a 2D plane.
Yeah.
This one will be more of a Soul Calibur type deal. Then again, like, off the top of my head, I mean, you really got Tekken, Soul Calibur, and Dead or Alive. I can't think of too many other 3D fighters that are still around. I mean, you had Virtual Fighter from way back.
That's been gone for a while.
Yeah, we haven't seen anything from that series in a while. So I think those are kind of the big 3 out there. I can't really think of anything else. And
some people Some people think Dragon Ball Z is a good.
Oh yes, Dragon Ball Z. That'll actually. I'm hoping that's good. The last few have been solid. I've really liked what they were doing with some of the stuff. So I'll be curious to see that game actually. That'll be hitting next week. So we'll have a one fighter hopefully between the two to check out. And yes, I know, not everybody's a Dragon Ball fan, but when I grew up watching it, like on Cartoon Network, back before anime really got to be the thing it is now, over here at least. And so, I remember all the classic craziness and, the 2 episodes of somebody powering up and the 30 minutes that lasted like 20 episodes. For those that have watched it, they know exactly what I'm talking about. All 3 of you. But, so... a long-awaited PlayStation Network feature, Ryder. What's going on here? What are they announcing? Are we finally going to be able to change our PlayStation names? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, man. If only. If only.
You could be the 2 Ryder.
So, fulfilling a long-requested PlayStation Network feature, Sony officially announced on Thursday, last week, that sub-account holders who are over the age of 18 can now upgrade their existing account to a master account. By doing so, you'll gain full access to online and account features without losing access to your friends list, trophies, or any PlayStation Store content purchased on the sub-account. There is a pack explaining how to do so and what happens after you upgrade. They do go on to note that the upgrade is permanent, and the account cannot be changed back to a sub-account.
Why would it need to be changed back is where I'm confused. I mean, maybe if you find the Fountain of Youth or something, you could theoretically argue that.
I have no clue either. But the community is quite happy over this much requested feature. But some have wondered if this means something on Sony's side has happened in regards to servers. So maybe the change ID might be coming sooner than we think. No one really knows. But what do you guys think of the upgrade for your account feature now? Do you guys know anyone who will be happy about this besides the overall PlayStation community who has been suffering, quote unquote?
Well, like, honestly, I really feel like this should have been in there from the start, Like, it should have had you set your birthday in there, and when you turned 18, it would just automatically unlock.
Yep.
But apparently that wasn't thought about, or I don't know. We just lost JLC, by the way, so he might be quiet for a moment.
I just think a lot of things weren't thought about when they were making their server structure.
Yeah, I would agree, and unfortunately, I think it's got to the point where they're having to really dig deep to get this all straightened out without taking the servers down for an extended period of time. But yeah, I'm hoping that's definitely that sounds to me. I don't have no idea about their infrastructure. None of us do, and I'm pretty sure fairly few people actually have the knowledge they would need to actually determine that. But I would think that would be a step in the right direction for name changes. It can't hurt name changes,
And some were kind of thinking that maybe this is where we had all this maintenance going on. Maybe they've been swapping out servers to make it work properly. Now we're to the point where we can do it.
You would hope so. But yeah, there's really no.
Yeah, we don't really know.
No, for sure. But I would say that would be a step in the right direction. It has to be. I mean, you can't go any further away, I don't think. But yeah, I'm really wondering. I don't know. I just don't since I've never really tried to look at something in that broad of a scope. It's really hard for me to decide how long they had been in planning and all this type of stuff. Because I mean, they knew what Xbox 360 had. They knew you could. At least I'm pretty sure you could change your gamer tag basically the entire time Xbox Live's been around, and whatnot. So I don't know if they got too far into it, or if I think sometimes, for better or worse, Sony kind of pulls a Nintendo and kind of sticks their head in the sand and they do what they want to do, and and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But I just wonder if that seems to have changed. By the way, they don't seem to be quite like that as much anymore. But at the time, we can definitely see some thoughts on that. I mean, $599 US, giant enemy crabs, blah blah blah. We all know the meme from that. So I wonder if it's just something where they were kind of playing their own tune and just going with what they knew how to do or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I'm glad to see that come up to the point where you can actually upgrade your account and you're no longer stuck in a sub account when you turn 18.
Mm-hmm.
JLC, you're excited you get to upgrade your account, right? Or did he actually come back?
Not sure.
He is back. I'm sure JLC is excited to upgrade his account. Let's just put it that way. So, the biggest surprise of the PlayStation experience, I don't know about that, but you got some information on Drawn to Death, Ryder?
Yep. As stated, possibly one of the biggest surprises to come out of last December's PlayStation experience was God of War's David Jaffe's PlayStation 4 game Drawn to Death. They only see that because they were hoping that he was going to announce something God of War related. But advertised as an arena shooter, we now know that Drawn to Death will now be a free-to-play title as well. This was revealed by David Jaffe over on his Twitter account, where he was discussing the game with fans. But over on Reddit, Jaffe expounded on Drawn to Death's free-to-play nature, and even mentions it's being made by a team that dislikes traditional free-to-play games very, very much. Whatever that means. But how do you guys feel about Drawn to Death being free-to-play? Will we be giving it a go, or are you wary of free-to-play games? Why would they bother going this direction, since they did say they dislike the traditional free-to-play business model? Why not charge $20 or $40 for a digital arena game with no microtransactions? This is a question from our PlayStation community.
Well, and when I was looking at the Twitter feed here just to see what I could notice, and I personally am kind of shying away from most free-to-play titles, but that's mostly because their models are awful. If you have a good free-to-play model, I am totally fine with it. It's just most of the time they don't. So that's kind of the line you have to walk, and it can be very difficult to do correctly. I'm looking at his. Somebody asked him. I'm okay. Somebody said I'm okay with this design as long as there are frequent updates like LL. That was from at Solid Age, and Jaffe replies, "That's very much the plan. I've been excited to work on a service game for years." And that's something that you can't really do on a paid title, unless it's like a subscription-based title, like Final Fantasy. I mean, it's almost like I talk about Destiny and Final Fantasy and compare and contrast a lot, and somewhat it's fair and somewhat it's not, because I mean Final Fantasy is a subscription game, and Destiny is obviously not, but. Like, if you look at the amount of content that you actually get, I mean, like, I just got to level 50. That's your max level, and then you know from there you work on item levels, and I think you got up to level 130 item levels until the expansion, when who knows what it's going to be, and they're going to up the level cap by 10 levels. But I mean, like, once you get to the in-game content, you have so much to do, and there, you know, and even then you can go back and you can level other classes beyond that, but you have various raids, you have hard modes of versions of dungeons, you have loot of all kinds to get. I mean, you really have a lot to do, and that's just something that is inherent with a subscription game. If it's not getting bigger updates like that, it's not going to be a subscription game for very long. You know, that's what I've kind of heard happen with Star Wars. Is, you know, it was cool, and then you got to the end, and there really wasn't anything else to do, and they didn't really update it that much, and so it went free to play pretty quick. You know, and Destiny obviously is just, you know, you buy the game, you play the game, and you know, I think that's one of the reasons we haven't seen as much content coming out. It is sad that the paid DLC has such little content, you know, from our perspective anyway. But you know, I think a free to play model, as long as you're getting a decent stream of income, can actually work pretty well with that. Because I mean, look at League of Legends. They constantly are, you know, they've kind of slowed down a little bit on content because they were releasing Champion like every month and it was getting stupid. But they, you know, they have a lot of different styles of play. They have a lot of different champions, and you can you know, you can find something that really fits your personality and your play style. So if it's something like that, and it's not some over the top thing, I think that's something to definitely look at. What I'm personally actually a fan of, though, is the free-to-play titles that actually give you the option of, you know, buying everything and just, you know, at a flat rate. Like, you know, if they come along and they're like, hey, if you really like the game, like Killer Instinct on Xbox One, you know, you can get the free-to-play version and buy each character as you want them or something, or you can just go ahead and pay like $40 and get the entire set for Season 1 and then the entire set for Season 2, and, you know, I like that. It's an interesting idea. I think it helps out people like myself that are kind of wary of the free-to-play model in some respects.
I mean, and some people were wondering how they could honestly change to make free-to-play title enticing, despite its main purpose to eventually suck money out of the player.
Yeah, and that's the real trick. I mean, that's always the real trick. And with an arena-based fighter or shooter / game like that, you know, action game like that, it is going to be tough. I would think that you would unlock more characters that would have possibly special moves of some kind, special abilities or something like that, or you know, maybe even focus on cosmetic items. I mean, Dota 2, that's all that game focuses on, and that makes money. So, you know, you have to have a decent sized player base for that. But you know, if you can do stuff like that, you know, you can get some kind of fancy aesthetics. Some people will pay $1 or $2 for something like that, or $5 or whatever. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see what actually they end up doing with it, though.
Well, if they go the Warframe route, I wouldn't mind, because Warframe is actually a really good free-to-play title. It's one of the very few that does it really well.
Sorry? Which game? Warframe?
Warframe, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, and that's a good example. Okay, so it looks like we've got some Dungeon Defenders 2 information, Ryder. What's going on here?
Yep. Also during that PlayStation experience, Trinity Entertainment announced that Dungeon Defenders 2 would be a PlayStation 4 console exclusive when it eventually launches, after partnering with Sony. Getting a little more information about the decision, Gaming Bolt sat down with marketing director Philip Asher, where he explained why the game isn't coming to the competing platform. We really love the folks at PlayStation, and right now a lot of the policies on the PS4 made it a better fit for Dungeon Defenders 2. since it will be a free-to-play title. He adds that their business model will be based around cosmetic in-game purchases, and we will never sell gameplay advantages in Dungeon Defenders 2. Pay to win. Should more developers that have their games go free-to-play just charge for cosmetic looks, and why not charge for maps and gameplay advantages? Isn't it where the money kind of is at?
Well, and like I say, Dota 2 focuses entirely on cosmetic stuff. The difference with Dota 2 is they take it the extra mile. You can do the workshop, you can create your own stuff, and I think you can even get a little bit of money off of it if you get it verified or something like that. But just for example, there's a character, I'm blanking on the name now, but there's a ranger, Elven, I believe it's an Elven Ranger character that and she is a DPS. She's all about, she's a carry. She's all about taking down the enemies and getting kills. One of her, I think it's a cape that she has that'll actually have a number on the back of it, and that number is the amount of people you've killed. The number of enemies you've killed, rather. With that, I believe with that cape on, or maybe with that character. I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it's with the cape on. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 as you go up, and I mean stuff like that. It's something really different that I don't really see in other games. So if they do take that aesthetic stuff and really really go with it, I think they can have something there. I actually like the original Dungeon Defenders. I just didn't get super deep into it.
Yeah, same here.
I'm curious about the game. It's definitely something I'm going to try. But as far as going free to play with cosmetic looks, I mean, like I say, if you can pull it off, I would say it's something that I would encourage, because I mean, getting the I really hated when a company tries to add on some kind of weird, pay to win stuff and all that kind of stuff. What also drives me crazy is like Battlefield you can buy battle packs and all that kind of stuff, and that's so dumb. Like they need to stop that. That's what I really do not like.
Well, what is it? Why not charge for maps and stuff? I mean, they could easily do that.
You splinter your community, and I would actually expect that they will have some kind of like add-on chapters that what they will charge for, like that may include like 5 extra levels or something like that. That's a possibility, I guess. But I don't think they've actually ruled out maps.
Well, they said their main focus will be cosmetic, so.
Well, yeah, main focus. And that the original Dungeon Defenders, I believe, had some cosmetic stuff as well, but they did actually have a quest set that you could buy for it was like $10 or something, but it came with like, I don't know, it was like a episodic type thing. It wasn't very long, but it had several maps in it. One thing I'd actually really be curious to see if they do is like a theme, like like Minecraft has the Skyrim theme for your blocks and all that. I'm gonna be curious to see if they have like a if they can do something like a Skyrim theme, or if they could do a knights, or knights. It's kind of middle agey anyway, so it can't really work there. But like a futuristic theme or something like that. That'd be kind of cool if they could do some stuff like that. So let's get to Evolve.
Yep.
What do you got for Evolve, Ryder?
So, the amount of extra skins that can be purchased on day one for Evolve has certainly made a lot of people angry. If you go ahead and go to the PlayStation Store and look at Evolve, go there right now. Almost all of that DLC are new skins, and they aren't cheap. From the looks of it, one monster skin will run you $3 unless you get a pack of 3, which costs you $7. And even gun skins will cost you about $2 each. According to Destructoid, buying all of these skins would cost you $60.89, so roughly about $61. And that doesn't even include the $25 Hunter Season Pass, or the $15 Monster Expansion Pack if you didn't pre-order. So assuming you did not pre-order the game or buy the digital deluxe version, all this would cost you around $160, and to reiterate, the game literally just came out. So what do you guys think of the huge amount of DLC, and what about those prices? Again, our PlayStation community are quite angry over this, but the question is, should they be? Turtle Rock is providing free map packs forever in order to not separate, like what you said earlier, separate the community. Unlike what Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Destiny, and among other titles, we sell map packs as DLC. Do those games get a pass, and will be also kind of considered as hypocritical, if so, correct?
So I don't think we should include Destiny in any of this DLC discussion. I mean, most people have criticized them for the amount of content they have. As far as Call of Duty and Battlefield getting a pass, I mean, it's a little different in some cases. You already, with Battlefield at least, I don't know about the Call of Duty stuff. I haven't looked too deeply into it. But with Battlefield, I mean, you're not only getting new maps, but you're also getting new elements to those maps. Like the last set had hover tanks, and generally every time you're getting new weapons and gadgets and stuff like that to unlock as well. So it's really more than the maps that really made those packs to me. And they also tend to have a theme. So like you had China Rising to start with, and then you had a more futuristic set with the last ones, and you had I forget what the flashback pack, maybe, I can't remember what they were called, but something like that. And yeah, so it's, to me, it's not as huge of a deal. The other part of that coin, the other side of that, is they are both very, very big, very dedicated fan bases. So to me, I was playing Battlefield with a bunch of friends, so it was kind of a foregone conclusion that since we would be spending a lot of time in the game, we would be buying the season pass, premium, whatever you want to call it. And I expect Call of Duty is the kind of the same for a lot of people. They probably have a group of people they play with, and they all know they're going to be playing Battlefield or Call of Duty or whatever for the next year or year and a half or whatever. So it kind of makes sense. With Evolve, however, it's a new IP. We don't really know exactly how well it's going to sell. Like I said, I believe last week, I actually ended up with a copy. I forgot I had pre-ordered it on Amazon and didn't end up canceling. And so I have it sitting at my house, and I think I'm going to send it back or, give it to Walmart and tell them I got it as a gift, which I technically did from Amazon. Amazon gifted it to me. So that's something that I will be curious to see the sell-through numbers on that. I want to see how it's doing. But, Battlefield and Call of Duty, they can afford to separate their communities because they have so many players. But Evolve simply cannot. Now, Gamer, any thoughts from your end on Evolve?
Yeah, I asked a couple of friends how the game was, and they said they get really bored really easily. So I really don't see the prices on these add-ons, especially if none of these are covered with the season pass.
Yeah, that's my thing. Like that's been my hang-up with keeping in the game, because I've been turning it over in my head, and I think I finally, like I said, made the decision. I'm just gonna give it to Walmart and have them give me a gift card, or I'm gonna send it back to Amazon, one of the two. And I think that's what I'm gonna do, because I keep turning it over, and for a little bit I was like, well, maybe I'll open it and I'll play it, but I didn't, and so I just waited, and sure enough, my mind turned back to not keeping it. And I just feel like that's gonna be my problem, is that I'm not gonna end up enjoying the game enough to keep it. Like I see like it could be something that's fun to play for a while, but I feel like that it's not going to get kind of old to me pretty quickly, especially if I don't have friends playing it, which if I've looked at my friends list and I saw one person playing it. Actually, take that back, two. I saw two people playing it, and one of them I didn't really don't really game with all that much. So we're on at really different times. So, it's kind of pointless for me to have it if none of my friends really have it.
I mean, for this news story, people are kind of upset that they're charging for skin packs and everything instead of map packs, like they should be charging for map packs apparently. And what I read through the internet, it's like they would feel more okay with them charging map packs than skin packs, which is mind-boggling in my mind, because then
that's pretty backwards to me.
So instead of splitting your player base, and if you really like the game, you can buy these skin packs, people would rather be splitting the player base and hope people would buy these map packs like Call of Duty and all of them. That's why the comparison was put there. And I just couldn't understand. I tried to explain to some people where, if they're providing free map packs, I don't know of any developer where they give maps away for free.
Killzone.
I don't know of
Shadowfall.
Huh?
Shadowfall is the latest game.
Well,
to do that.
that's probably the exception, but majority.
Yeah, majority of the time
they
do not. Yes, I agree. But yeah, that's and that seems kind of backwards to me. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we looking at? We're looking at skins. I mean, character skins and gun skins. I don't care. Unless something just looks awful, which from what I recall from the alpha, there was nothing I really thought that looked terrible. I don't care about skins. Like Final Fantasy, everybody, some people get so into every single little piece of armor, and they have to have it looking a certain way. And if it doesn't look right with another piece of armor, they're like, oh, well, I can't wear this together. And I'm just like, whatever, I'll just dye it all one color, and I'm fine. It looks really weird. And for a while there, I didn't even do that. I'd run around and have a yellow piece of armor and a green piece of armor and a red piece of armor, and I'd just be all these weird colors all together. But finally I just bought some blue dye, and I'm like, I'm just gonna dye everything blue. And that's all I'm gonna do. I don't care about anything else. I don't care how it looks together. I don't care about anything else. I just want it to be a solid uniform color. And but yeah, I mean, if you really care about aesthetics that much, you'll have to go buy your skins. I mean, that's I would much rather them do that than do map packs, or try to pull the stuff that Last of Us did, where you have to buy weapons. That was really awful. So I do have a problem actually with them having all of this ready for day one.
Yeah, I think that's where the majority was very upset about.
Yeah, that is where I have a problem. Because, I mean, you said there's a pack of 3 skins, I'm guessing, for the monsters.
Yeah.
And then how many gun skins did you say? Or do they?
And there's multiple gun skins. They never really specify how many, but there's a total of about $60 worth of skins for guns and characters.
Now, see, that to me, that is going a bit far for day one. And that I can definitely understand the frustration in that. If that's what you're complaining about, I can totally understand that, because this is all there, and it's like, why are you guys selling it? It's done. It's not like it's extra content. I mean, I guess they could have done it since it went gold, but what are you really saying then? You put $60 worth of skins together in a month? I kind of doubt that.
I mean, they could have went the same way as Capcom does it, just slowly start pulling stuff out, even though it's already done.
Yeah,
just over time, so people don't feel so bad saying, "Oh, well, this would have all been day one."
Yeah, perception sometimes is reality. The appearance there is not nearly as bad as when you have $60 worth of skins. I mean, you have the same price of the game for skins on day one, and it's kind of like, what? So, I don't know. I think it's a bad PR move, bad marketing, but that's just me. I would also argue that at least some of those skins should come with the season pass or the monster expansion pack, one of the two, but no.
What does the season pass even bring?
Season Pass brings you four additional hunters.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah. So, and the monster expansion is one extra monster. That's the third one, right?
No, there's a fourth one.
Fourth one. Okay. Fourth one. So you can unlock the third one yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, if you still ultimately look at it though, you're building an entire game around 3 sets of hunters and 4 monsters, and that's including your DLC. I don't know. It just seems like a tall order for a $60 game. And like some people have suggested, I almost wonder if this would have been better off as a free-to-play title, to kind of get people in the door and then seeing about, buying monsters and all that kind of stuff. Then again, at that point, you get some really crazy balance issues, and you really have to pick and choose. I mean, can you lock people out of reviving dead hunters with a paywall? That's a really tough question. So I don't know how that would have worked out, but it's a tough call. But I do agree that $60 worth of skins is crazy for day one. So Street Fighter V, Ryder, what's going on?
Yeah, as of right now, the upcoming Street Fighter V is only confirmed for release on PS4 and PC. If Street Fighter producer, I'm gonna say this wrong, Shinoro Ono, right?
Yoshinori Ono.
Yoshinori Ono.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, is able to though. He told IGN this month that he would like to bring it to the PlayStation Vita as well. He says that it will be an exclusive for the PS4 and PC in regards to Street Fighter V. I like to make it for the Vita in the future, but for now, my focus is for Sony and the PS4. So would you guys buy Street Fighter V if it came to the Vita?
No.
No?
If it was crossplay.
Yeah, maybe.
Even then, I would not. The controls on Vita just they are not very conducive to a fighter to me. I've tried playing BlazBlue on that. It may work a little better with your with Street Fighter, I guess, because you could kind of do the motions on the D-pad.
Yep.
But I still feel like it's really awkward to try to play a fighter on that. I mean, if you could,
unless you have the PlayStation TV.
Yes, and that would be an exception. But that would be the only exception I could see. As far as just playing it straight on the Vita, I cannot see that. I can't even see doing remote play with that. Just because I feel like it's so awkward to try to play.
And they did bring that Street Fighter X Tekken, and that one actually plays fine. Probably, but I've never compared it to the actual console or the arcade versions either. So.
Yeah, well, I'm still kind of sad that we don't have a decent fight stick for the PS4. Rather, I really want that market to get built up just so I can find something again that I don't want to spend $200, $300 on one, but I'm totally willing to spend like $100 on one. But nothing, I can't go higher than that and justify it. But it's still kind of a not niche market. It's not that small, but it's still a kind of a subset of games. So but personally, I just cannot see myself playing, particularly cross play. Like I cannot see myself playing that on Vita. It just I feel like you'd be at a disadvantage on that controller compared to somebody playing on PS4 or PC.
I mean, but wouldn't it be kind of a disadvantage with PC owners using their own fight sticks?
I'm sure there actually will be a fight stick out by then. And to be fair, honestly, it's one of those things where it's kind of how you get used to playing it. Like, for example, the game I mostly use my fight stick with is Gundam Extreme Versus, and that's just because that's the way I've got used to playing it. There are some advantages to that game that involve using a fight stick, and it's not like required. There's only one suit where it was really required, and that suit plays differently than every other suit in the game. So unless you're really dead set on playing that suit, you don't have to have one. You can still, play even with the controller versus a fight stick. It's just one of those things that I had wanted one, and I finally decided to get one, and that's the game I really started using it with. So I've never felt Street Fighter hasn't particularly needed a fight stick. In fact, I with all the way the movement works, how you have to do forward down diagonal for Shoryuken or whatever. I feel like that's actually better on a D-pad than I do anything else. But I'm sure there are some people that really will prefer fight stick on that. So, Share Factory has been updated, Ryder. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, we skipped one. Let's go back to this. Resident
There's more
Evil
Capcom
information. News. Yeah, more Capcom news. What do you have?
Already having claimed top spot on PlayStation 4 in North America and Europe. For the PlayStation stores during January 2015. Capcom announced today that Resident Evil HD Remaster is their fastest selling digital title in history across those two territories. Not only that, but the game also broke the record for biggest selling day one digital title on the PlayStation Network, even surpassing other titles like Destiny. Resident Evil producer Yoshihiko Hiroyoshi? Issued a thank you from Capcom Japan as well recently.
Yoshiaki Hirabashi.
Yeah, Hirabashi. Yeah. So, did anyone buy the Resident Evil HD Remaster in this group? And
no.
Yes?
No. I did not.
No? Did anybody else?
Nope.
Ryder?
Gamer?
No.
DLC?
Is JLC even here? I don't think JLC's here.
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind.
Ryder, what about you? Did you buy it?
No, I didn't buy it.
What? Wow.
You got too many games to play. But and with the success of Resident Evil HD, some are wondering when will we hear in the future of some other titles like the leaked Resident Evil 0 that we saw in the one image they had.
As far as when, I don't know, but they've got to be coming. I mean, I feel like that's actually the stat about the fastest selling is a little, but I would think that if Mega Man 9 would have came out on Xbox, PS4 or PS3 and Wii at the same time, as far as I remember, it was released on Wii at first, and then it kind of hit the other consoles afterward. So I feel like if Mega Man 9 would have really kind of came out on everything, I think it would have actually done pretty well. And I feel like the PS4 is garnering way more digital sales than we're used to anyway. Like I just feel like I'm not sure what it is. I don't know if more people are ready for the digital age or if more people are accepting of digital purchases now or what's going on. But
it's those sales.
Yeah, sales definitely help as well. They're being a lot more active on giving you a discount for pre-ordering or getting it within the first week or something like that. So I do wonder if they had something like a Mega Man 9. They can't. Mega Man 11 at this point, I don't know if it would do quite that. But if they had like a Mega Man 9, I'd be curious if they could get that to how well that would sell. If that would do, if that would sell quickly or whatnot. But we obviously never really know how well some of these digital titles do. But yeah, I mean, the digital age really kind of got started kind of halfway through the PS3 life cycle. That's where they kind of started experimenting with the, Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Super Remaster Ultimate Okami Edition. So yeah, Okami's just thrown randomly in there. I like that. I'll have to remember that. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of one of they started looking at doing stuff like that. So I would be curious to see going forward if something tops Resident Evil, just because I don't know, maybe they struck when the time was right on RE, or an RE remake. I don't know.
Or maybe Resident Evil 6 was so bad that they were hoping that the next Resident Evil was much better, and this
Possibly.
came out. People were ecstatic that it was actually good.
Yeah, possibly, and that could be it too. I just feel like they have other IPs that I think would be more profitable, but we will see. We will see. I do like that it's their fastest selling and all that, and none of us have it, which is funny.
Yep.
So Sony has updated Share Factory, right? Or what's going on with this? Did they they allow us to do everything we wanted to do now?
No, I don't know about that, but they did, after receiving lots of fan feedback, like you said, they updated Share Factory, but it was mostly for adding more tools and themes. Available now in Europe and later on in North America. Actually, I think it's available now. The themes you can download now for free from the PlayStation Store there are themes. This is for Share Factory, by the way. Destiny, Pro Evolution Soccer 2015, Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare, Killzone Shadowfall, and Little Big Planet 3. The Share Factory does also have an 80s theme that's available, but it's for $1.99. But also more themes are being added more over time. Also, in the update, like I mentioned, for tools, you'll be able to find a new gallery feature, which allows you to easily view and share your complete projects. But how often do you guys use Share Factory? Has anyone even used it recently?
I actually have not, but I keep intending on trying it. I just have to find the right thing to do it. Maybe the order is one of those. And like I say, I'm really gotten into Final Fantasy now, and I'm really kind of considering some things I could do with that. But a lot of that stuff, you really need more than 15 minutes to kind of mess with. And I could try to record multiple videos, but where's the fun in trying to get all that queued up? So I feel like if I could set it to record multiple videos, like the next, record 4 videos over the next 60 minutes or something like that, I think it would be more viable for me to do something like that. But it entirely depends on your application, obviously.
Well, you could press the share button when the 15 minutes are up and just keep doing it like 4 times, and then the Share Factory...
I realize that, but you have to be paying attention to that.
Oh, okay. Because the Share Factory does let you link together videos, so if you really wanted to.
I know. I actually don't know if it'll let you upload to YouTube directly if it's longer than 15 minutes, though. Even though, I have the option to do that myself. I don't know if it'll let you on the PS4. So you'd have to transfer it and all that. I mean, not a huge deal, but, it's just an extra step. I wish they could try to upload it. And, because, it'll fail if you can't. But I wish they would try to upload it. Because, my YouTube account, I can upload basically as long a video as I want. But yeah, I still feel like there's a couple things they need to work out. Like I still want to record party audio when you're recording a video. Like, you have the option of recording your mic, and you have the option of streaming your party audio, but you can't actually record party audio with a video. And that would be actually really cool, because you could do some interesting stuff that you could post to YouTube. But obviously without that, it's kind of... You have to figure out some other solution, like Google Hangouts or TeamSpeak or something like that. And then you have to sync the video up. And it's not a huge deal to me. You could kind of guess at the time, and it's not a huge deal. But it is a bit of an annoyance. So, yeah. It's not something you could do easily on Share Factory either. You'd have to, rip the audio from whatever you're doing and put it in the PS4. And I guess you could do it that way, but it just seems like a whole lot of work for something that should be able to happen, considering they can always stream it. But yeah, I do like how they are focusing on the Share Factory. I just wish they'd give some of the rest of the system some love on when it comes to the OS, because I still think there's a lot of room for improvement. Gamer is gaming, so he doesn't care about Share Factory.
Haven't used it since released.
Yeah, I've messed around with it a little bit, but I really want to get into it and kind of start looking at it. I just need to, like I say, I need to find a good subject to do that on, because I don't want to just like, maybe I'll do I don't know, I'm trying to think of what it was. Maybe I'll do something on Dragon Ball Z, or The Order or something like that. See how that goes.
And there's some people who might be able to utilize a lot more than others. Like I could have recorded the 15 minutes of Far Cry 4 where you get the alternate ending. I could have did that, which would have been funny. But then there's like there's some, like I was doing Shadow Warrior. I was playing Shadow Warrior, and I could have recorded the little bits of how to get to the secrets or got to the Easter eggs. There's certain, because you can, like I said, you can cut up the video as much as you want, but you can only, like you said, upload 15 minutes to YouTube through Share Factory.
Yeah.
That could have been possibly where I could have broken up by level, and it would have actually worked. It probably actually would have worked out. Same thing with like trophy hunting. Probably Share Factory would be perfect for trophy hunting, because then you can like say, all right, well, at this area, here's where you can farm, or
yeah. And I mean, you know, if you can put together several like couple of minute clips, I mean, yeah, that would be a really good thing for Share Factory. And I even think like a simple commentary video where you're just having some gameplay scrolling and you're either talking about it or describing some strategy about it and that kind of stuff, that could work. You know, and if you want to, I personally, I tend to like to, when I'm doing a review or something like that, I tend to try to use as few cuts as possible, because I don't really like the reviews where I'm looking at gameplay and it's like cut, just simply because I like to actually let players see what a game is actually, how it actually is played. I don't like, I mean, you know, if I'm talking about something specific, sure, cutting to something may be worth it, but I feel like a lot of times when you're cutting that much, you don't really get a good look at how the game actually plays sometimes. So it may not be the most exciting video in the world, but I prefer to do that as opposed to, you know, action scene, big battle, cut, action scene, cut to big battle, cut to, you know, something else and leave out. You know, I mean, you could probably go and cut to like just a bunch of QTEs and you know, God of War or whatever, and try to, you know, portray that's what the entire game's about. And so I don't know. I don't like the cuts as much. I like to have a more natural looking gameplay video. So for me, it actually probably would work out fine because I'm not requiring super heavy video editing for the most part. So we got some information on the Zombie Army. Ryder, what's going on?
So the Zombie Army Trilogy website suggests that the PlayStation 4 could be getting the ability to set custom backgrounds in an upcoming firmware update. Later that day, when this happened, Rebellion offered an official statement on the matter, clearing up that they didn't accidentally, quote-unquote, leak any information for an upcoming PS4 feature, which I'm sure of. They mentioned, sorry, PlayStation owners, I'm afraid we are just as in the dark as you are about the next PS4 update. This is what we get for being a little organized. At least if they do announce custom backgrounds, we'll be the first dev to have them ready for you guys. Of course, they say your move, Sony. But the community is wondering if this leak was intentional, or they really overlooked the fact that custom themes haven't been announced yet. But what do you guys think? Do you think custom themes will be coming in the next firmware update? Because obviously, with this leak, they have been working on it, right?
What I'm kind of wondering is, I'm afraid this is what we get for being organized. Is that the exact quote?
Yep, that's what they said.
That's really strange.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they either knew about custom themes coming, or they accidentally forgot that it's not here yet, and they're like, "Oh, wait."
Huh. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really a confusing quote because they seem to suggest one thing and then they seem to suggest another. So, yeah. But yeah, I honestly would expect that to be on the way.
Yep.
It just seems like the next logical step.
I mean, people have been asking for it.
Xbox has had that forever. Just saying. So yeah, well, not forever. It's been a little while though, but a couple months now. But yeah, I do think they need to include that. But I still feel like they need some other quality of life updates before I'm really worried about the theme. People get so focused on the theme, and I'm like, dude, that's like number 37 on my list of stuff that I really want. It's nice, and I do hope they add it, but at the same time, like I put DLNA higher than that. I'd put MP3 on the hard drive higher than that. I put a lot of things higher than that. So I mean, it's cool, but if that's our next big update, it's kind of like, okay. So whatever. We will find out. I'm hoping soon because it's been a little while since they've updated.
Yeah, it's been about 2 to 3 months. So
yeah, so Microsoft has had 2 or 3 updates in that time frame. I mean, I think Sony's got to pick up the pace just a little bit, and they don't even have to necessarily update that often. They just need to include more to it. They need to really focus on what they could change, like this whole thing about having the notifications in the left-hand corner. Please, Sony, fix that. It doesn't need to be there. They're in the way of everything now. I mean, it's kind of getting annoying.
They should give it the option of being left or right side.
Yeah, or even in the center, top of the screen. That'd be nice too. I don't know that I'd actually put them there, but it'd be nice just to have the option. But I don't know. They've got to. I mean, stealth updates like that are a problem, and I hope it was just a mistake, and they just haven't been able to rectify it without wrecking something else or something like that. I don't know. But they've gotta start doing some of this stuff because they can't keep stagnant, and that's something I really hope they'll work on this year. So, Sony has announced that online support for Resistance Retribution will be discontinued. Ryder, what's going on?
Yep. Joining its console counterparts, Sony announced that online support for Resistance Retribution on Push and Portable will be discontinued on May 15th, 2015. No reason was given for the shutoff, but given that it's a PSP title and that Resistance 1, 2, and 3 went offline last year with low participation, it's likely that that's the leading culprit. But will you guys be playing a few more matches online before it disappears forever? And is it odd to see that a PSP title is still having online servers running?
Yes. And I forgot the game existed, so no, I will not be playing more matches. But yeah, I mean, it's still kind of crazy to see PSP titles talked about. There are very few PSP titles that I really care to even try to mess with. Dissidia being one of them, which of course Dissidia is not available digitally. Oh, I'm sorry, not Dissidia. Final Fantasy Crisis Core.
Yep.
I think the original Dissidia might not be available digitally. I know the second one is, so. But Crisis Core, I'd love to actually go play, but that's not available digitally, and that's like one of the few titles I can think of that I really would want to play from the PSP era. They're probably remaking it as an iPhone game or something at this point. Yep. But yeah, I am kind of surprised it stuck around this long.
And Resistance Retribution was made by the same people who did the Siphon Filter games, and it was actually really good, and you could still buy it on the Vita store. So it's probably one of the better. Actually, it is the best Resistance game on a handheld.
Was there?
Because we're gonna ignore the Burning. Yeah, we're gonna ignore the Burning Skies one, but yeah, we're gonna ignore that one. But this one was actually really good. And then if you could actually go on multiplayer, they did have a good multiplayer aspect to it. Very what is it? It was very Unit 13 like. So.
Okay. So kind of co-op-y?
Yep.
Okay, that's kind of cool. That could be, and it's kind of. I completely forgot about the game. The Resistance series is one I've just never got into. I kind of messed around with 2 for a little while, but 3 I don't even think I picked it up. So, tablets, Ryder. What are we talking about tablets for? This is a PlayStation podcast. What's going on?
So tablets getting more and more powerful with every iteration. Some have been asking, could it be possible that they will be replacing consoles as a primary gaming platform in the future? But apparently EA thinks this way, at least from a technical perspective. Speaking at the 2015 Technology, Internet, and Media Conference, EA CFO Blake Jorgensen said that he thinks tablets will be a bigger part of the company's business and that it could rival console specs in a few years' time. And while tablets could one day be on par with consoles graphically, I personally don't think we'd ever be at ease playing core games with just touch controls. But who knows though, right? Maybe virtual reality, i.e. Morpheus, are the keys to tablets' gaming success. But do you guys think tablets and mobile phones will one day replace your PlayStation and other consoles as your primary gaming platform?
One day? Like, do I think it could ever happen? Possibly. But I don't think that day is coming within the next console cycle or two. And part of it is those touch controls. I mean, I have tried to get into games with touch controls, and I just simply cannot do it. Doesn't matter on the game. I have tried. I cannot. I just simply can't do it. I really want to play. There's a couple of interesting, old school RPGs that I would really like to play on my tablet, but I just cannot, for the life of me, put up with the touch controls, even on something simple like that. I mean, like, even in a game where the reaction speed doesn't matter as much in like an old school RPG, I do not want to use the touchscreen to try to move around. I still feel it's just so awkward to do. I'm sure some people have gotten used to it. I haven't messed with the remote play that much because I cannot get my PS4 controller working with my tablet, and I cannot do it. I simply cannot do it working with the touch buttons. It just doesn't work for me. I tried playing Tetris with it, and it just no.
Well, some games they have to have some games that are like meant for a tablet or a phone device, not just shoehorning touch controls onto it. And I think the only people who even bother doing it properly, they're still a little too early, which is the NVIDIA Shield. That one is a very game-centric tablet, but even more so, like they're selling the controller. They're kind of advertising the controller with it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, touch controls are something that's it's still a little too archaic right now to even bother using. Even NVIDIA knows that. That's why they're selling the controller kind of separately with it.
Yeah, and honestly, if more games supported a good controller on a Android, I would probably take my tablet with me every day and play something at work during lunch. So I just wish more games supported controllers, but a lot of them, unfortunately, are designed to be played on a touchscreen, and it just simply doesn't work that way. Even the bigger games, like I'm blanking on the name now, but there are a couple of first-person shooters that are they really aren't designed to work with the controller out of the box. You have to get some kind of other method to get them to working right, and it's just such a hassle compared to other stuff. So it's like, why would I even bother with all this? I'd rather just read or do something else and try to get everything worked out like this. But yeah, I I do really think that tablets actually have a lot more push than phones, just because tablets are becoming more and more popular. They're kind of on the rise now. iPads are becoming big. Android tablets are constantly evolving. Microsoft is pushing Xbox One streaming through Windows 10 tablets. So I kind of feel like that's something that's on the rise, and I do see that that coming along. I just hope I do hope we can get some kind of standard standards for Android gaming at the least, because Android is, and I'm focusing on Android because I'm an Android guy. I don't like iOS. I cannot get into it. I'm not an Apple Kool-Aid drinker, so it's hard for me to really comment on Apple and try to do so from a somewhat objective position, or even from a somewhat informed position sometimes, because I just don't keep up with their news. I do not see very much in the way of standards though on Android or iOS or anything for controls. So I do hope that they will actually come up with something, a standardized, even if it's just something when you're mapping buttons in a basic, for face buttons, for shoulder buttons thing.
And that's why I kind of brought up NVIDIA. NVIDIA is probably the only people who are actually trying to pave the way for tablets that are more gaming centric. And actually, I think they're the only ones right now. But I think in regards to this article that we're talking about,
Razer actually had one as well, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, NVIDIA is more focused in regards to it being a gaming platform.
Well, no, they had one that had actually like a controller attached to the side of it. Like you had like 2 control sticks, one on each side, and like you held it by that. It's like handles. Yeah, it was really weird. I don't know how I.
It was that Razer tablet, but that was a Windows platform, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right. But it's still a tablet.
That's and I think this article was more in. It wasn't even really talking about touch controls or anything like that. They're more talking about the technical perspective where.
Oh yeah.
There's going to come to a point where tablets are going to be so powerful that all you need to do is do like the NVIDIA tablet, which is just hook up an HDMI to the tablet, grab your controller, and there's your console. Your console's right there and ready to go. That's what EA is thinking. EA is kind of thinking in the future that's what's going to happen, where digital or streaming will become mainstream and become the norm, and disc-based games may not be something really a focus anymore. But we'll see.
Hey, as long as everyone has Google Fiber or something like that, some kind of fiber, I think you'll be fine with the digital streaming becoming the norm. But until that day comes,
yes,
and it may never, it's going to be tough. Because I tried PlayStation Now a little bit with the free trial or whatever, and like even with my connection, which is pretty good, it's still kind of laggy. It's just not, and it's not all that super fun to play. So I don't know, and maybe I was just, I may need to try it again at some point, because I do have a better setup now with my modem and router, but So The Last Guardian writer, what do you have?
All right, so this news came out today, and so this is kind of breaking news. So perhaps signifying a name change for the long-term development title. The Last Guardian trademark has been abandoned by Sony as of today.
Abandoned? Sony has abandoned the game. That's what I'm understanding.
Yeah. Again?
So we're marking it for February 16th, according to a user on NeoGAF, which he discovered. According to the USPTO website, it was abandoned because no statement of use or extension request was timely filed after a notice of allowance was issued. So, are you guys upset that the title may have been killed, or could this be dropped due to a change of title?
I honestly feel like at this point it's been changed, both, with the title and with the mechanics. Like, I feel like, I don't know what it was. Maybe they weren't thrilled with how everything was going. Maybe they announced it too early, and, they were still kind of in the pre-production stuff where they were really kind of getting everything set. I don't know. We're probably never gonna know. I think they could almost write a book, Console Wars 2, on the the story of The Last Guardian, and but I do think that game is coming out in some form. I just think it's going to be something different than we originally expected, and I do expect a new game name to go along with that. Gamer, did you have something?
No.
Okay. No.
I guess you didn't care for The Last Guardian.
No, it's taking too long to come out.
Well, like I say, I think it's going to be something else at this point, because I think they've kind of wrote it out with the name. I really think a rebranding will actually help.
Yep.
And
didn't the original already as well?
No, I mean they're still making it. According to IGN, there was one of their people, I believe his name was Marty. He had actually visited Japan Studios, and he mentioned that currently they're making a title. He said some people are wondering, oh, is The Last Guardian dead? And they said, well, we don't really call it The Last Guardian in regards to development. We call it Trico. So they said that the Ico, it's called the Ico trilogy series. So.
Yeah, I remember him talking about that. I think I was on a podcast Beyond. So,
yep.
Like I say, I do wonder if they've rebranded it somehow and they've changed mechanics and whatnot. And that would make sense it's probably been basically in development hell half the time. So I would expect that as much, honestly.
Yep.
So we teased something a couple weeks ago where we were talking about a new initiative, and we all speculated on how awesome it was and blah blah blah, and we're like, maybe this will be movies or TV or something because they're having celebrities show up. And so, Ryder, I mean, out of all these awesome ideas, which one did Sony pick for this?
So Sony has announced PlayStation Heroes, a new initiative that gives PlayStation 4 owners a chance to play celebrities.
Is this like a continuation of the Heroes series that was on TV? Is that what I'm hearing? But in the PlayStation universe? Oh, what is it?
No. It allows PS4 owners a chance to play celebrities and athletes in the games of their choice, with nearly all proceeds going to charity.
So it's not PlayStation movies. Is that what you're telling me?
Yep.
It's not PlayStation TV shows?
Nope. It's not any of that stuff. So instead of being a one-up type deal for this this charity thing, which Sony has donated $100,000 to each the Make-A-Wish America, the USO, and the V Foundation for Cancer Research. People will get the chance to challenge their celebrities every month, but to participate, you'll need to download the PlayStation Heroes app for PS4, which currently isn't out, but it'll be out on February 24th. With pre-orders of the app, technically you can get it today for a pre-order.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but give me the chance to purchase dynamic themes early, which serves as your entries for a chance to win. And for those dynamic themes, you'll be able to purchase between $1, $5, $10, or $15 for each dollar spent, counting as one entry. You'll be able to buy a $20 bundle, which will count as 31 entries, whatever that means. Celebrities you'll be able to play with in the next few months will be Shaun White, who's doing Destiny for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Make-A-Wish America, sorry. That'll be March 2015. Yasiel Puig.
Yasiel
Puig. April 2015. Snoop Dogg, for those fans of Call of Duty, will be May 2015. And Stephen Curry, which is somewhere around summer 2015.
I actually think that's Stephen Curry, by the way.
Sorry.
I think that's Stephen a basketball player. I think it's what they're going for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe that's Stephen Curry.
So, is anyone going to participate in this PlayStation Heroes?
Like if I actually thought I had any chance of winning, it might be kind of cool for some of those. I do remember randomly seeing on Reddit a thread about the Reddit Secret Santa, and the title was Snoop Dogg was my Secret Santa. And so this guy got a bunch of Snoop Dogg merchandise and stuff. which I thought was actually really cool that he's on Reddit and he did Secret Santa. But yeah, I mean, like,
don't we kind of already have something?
Sorry?
Don't we kind of already have something like this?
Not that I'm aware of. I do know that some people do this kind of like as a charity thing, like they'll do it themselves. They won't, but I don't know of anything where they've organized it quite like this.
I think not with celebrities or anything, but they've already done charity events already for. I mean, I think gamers do it every year. I forget what it's called. It's called. You even did it.
Oh, Extra Life. That's different.
Yeah, Extra Life. So what's the point of going? Doing like. I don't know. I was confused over the whole matter of saying, well, don't we already have something like this? What's the point of doing this again? Like, no. Because celebrities are here now.
This is something a little different, This is, I mean, you get a celebrity name in it one way or another, and it can change things. I personally think it's kind of silly. I'm not a huge follower of celebrities or anything. If they told me I could play games with Yasiel Puig, I would probably not show up.
I'm guessing it's for people who are in the mainstream. It's like we're trying to reach our mainstream audience.
Yes. And like I say, Snoop Dogg, I'm not a huge fan of his, like, musically, but I hear he's a lot different when you're actually, like, speaking to him. He is not quite the same as he appears to be, as his appearance, reputation, quote unquote, goes by. But I mean, it's just something kind of different. I would be curious about how long the play session is lasting and all that kind of stuff. I mean, are we talking like 30 minutes, or are we talking like, a couple of hours, or what?
Maybe it's SharePlay like.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're using session of SharePlay. Excuse me, but yeah, I mean, and it's. I feel like it's a good advertising avenue for PlayStation to get their name out there even more, because I need to go on and do a video about this at some point, but I'm gonna try to do a video talking about the PlayStation brand and how it all is kind of shaken out. I need to get a script put together and try to do that. But I feel like they're not only that, but they're getting these charities out there, and there's some pretty cool ones in there. I really like the V Foundation. I want to see them get more attention and all that. But at the same time, like, it also gives these celebrities a little bit of rep, and it also gives them, it also gives, they could probably actually stream what they're doing, these gameplay sessions, if the celebrity and the person give their consent, and actually kind of drum up the program that way as well. So
it works both ways.
Yeah, I mean, if it could be a really good deal for PlayStation, the charities, and the celebrities, if it all works out. Of course, a lot of stuff has to happen, but I can understand the idea behind it. But personally, I think an announcement would have been better than this random event in New York where they're like talking about a PlayStation initiative and secrecy and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. But yeah, it could end up working out for everyone. It could not. We'll just have to see. I mean, personally, like, look at, Will Wheaton did Tabletop, and they played, like, random board games. He did it with celebrities, or, well, not even necessarily celebrities. Sometimes there were more, just people he knew that were kind of, they might be in movies and stuff, but they may not be a big actor or something like that. So,
okay.
It's kind of, it seems to me kind of like that, except it's a little less focused on, it's more focused on a charity rather than, I think he had to kickstart his because they had all these effects and stuff like that. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. So now our big controversial topic that just seems to get bigger and bigger and bigger as we go along here. The Order 1886. What's the deal, Ryder? What's going on?
All right. So the big thing that happened today, while it has been building up over the past couple weeks and couple months, something happened today in regards to playthrough. So YouTuber Play Me Through had uploaded a complete walkthrough or playthrough of the Order 1806 to their YouTube channel. The footage totals roughly around 5 hours of playtime, including both gameplay and cutscenes, and the time devoted to cutscenes appears to be roughly half of that playtime, and that the cutscenes are reported to be unskippable. The leak has arrived shortly after rumors circulating that the game was only 3 hours long, and after Radia Dawn founder and CTO Andrea Pacino responded to a query that the game was less than 5 hours long by stating that was not true. And Pacino later tweeted that he would no longer comment on such ridiculous questions. And I like to also point out that Forbes reviewer later dismissed this, saying he was well into 12 hours into the game, and that the play styles determine the game length. So is this true here in regards to gameplay time, different from each gamer? But more so, what are you guys' thoughts on all this?
Well, like I've talked about, a little bit ago, I ended up did get it. I played it for 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, something like that. And yeah, there were some times where there was a cutscene. None of them were particularly long that I can recall. But the game is kind of. I'm trying to. I asked somebody about it today, so because he apparently got it early, I'm trying to. Not include what he was saying, because I don't know how the NDAs work out for that, because he's technically not NDA'd, but I still don't want to talk about a game that's not technically out yet.
Yeah,
but from my experience, it seems like it's a slower burn. It's not like it's not like Gears of War, you're constantly shooting stuff or anything like that. There are portions where you're going to be experiencing the story, or you're going to be setting up the action scenes or something like that. So, if you're looking for Gears of War, where you're constantly shooting everything and all that kind of stuff, you're not getting it here. But, I think it's a game that seems to focus more on the experience rather than the action. And, if the story is good, which I'm hoping it will be, the little bit I saw was interesting. So, if the story is good, I think it's going to be worth playing. Some people, let's look at it from other games in the same genre. Let's look at Uncharted, the first and second game. The multiplayer was such a wild card at that point. We don't really know that the multiplayer is going to be something we're going to get into. But both games are around probably 8, 10, 12 hours, depending on how you play. And you could probably actually play them faster. I personally was Googling it because I thought I remembered. Somebody actually is able to beat Skyrim in 45 minutes. So, just because you can beat a game in, 3 hours or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that the game is that long. You're not going to be able to do that the first time you play it. So,
yeah. And then my thoughts on the whole matter was, certain people are saying the game's not even worth playing or buying because they determined for the community that Game Leak determines if a game is good or not, or worth anyone's time. And like what your point is, for Uncharted 1, that game had absolutely no multiplayer, and the only way you could even lengthen the time of that game was if you want to collect everything. And eventually they introduced trophies, which even boosted up the game so that you could kind of farm and grab more trophies for the game. But overall, you could run through that game. I think most I saw was you could actually run through the whole entire game and not know anything about it in about 5 to 7 hours. So that's relatively short. And my argument was, if Uncharted 1 had not been received critically by everybody as being a hit title, and that if that game was brought out today, there would have been no sequels. There would have been no The Last of Us, because the critics would have been so harsh on the game that, like right now, everyone's very harsh right now. If you were to look at it on the internet right now, everyone is talking about the length of the Order 1806. If Uncharted 1 had come out today, with today's critics and the way that people's attitudes are, I don't think sequels would have even come out, because Sony would have been like, well, people just don't want anything really new or unique or have a unique experience, or a story-driven game. It's like we're trying to present a story-driven game. If people don't want that, then we'll choose to go somewhere else and do other games, like how Puppeteer got forgotten by everybody. And that game, like, it was a unique experience, but I don't even think anyone even remembers that game. So I'm just personally saddened for the fact that without the game actually being in a lot of people's hands and people actually getting to experience it, some outlets in regards to media are actually making that decision for them. So now people are saying, well, I'm going to just rent the game, because if I'm going to be able to beat it within a weekend, what's the point of even buying it? Or what's the point of buying a game that's relatively short? Or even what's the point of Sony? I've seen where people say, what's the point of Sony even wasting money on development for a title like this? They should have invested in multiplayer. They should have invested in a 100-hour campaign. Like, it's just, it blew my mind when I started seeing stuff like that. I'm guessing all games have to be the same. Like, all games have to have multiplayer. All games have to be, like, giant scope of gameplay time. It just didn't make any sense to me. I was like, why can't games be different from each other? Like, some games can be short, some games can be long, some games can have multiplayer, some games don't have one. And my perspective where it was, overall, I want to support the developer, because when a sequel comes out for this game, let's say this game is phenomenal, and it could be so, and it could be well, if it sells well enough, and they say, well, you know what, it's been good enough to the point where we're going to make a sequel. They could actually, because now it's an established franchise, they can now include stuff like Uncharted 2 did. It's like Uncharted 2, now we're going to have multiplayer. Now we're going to have a more longer single player experience, because people wanted a longer game. And then, they could branch out. It's just something that people don't even keep in mind at all. It's like, it was a little troubling. I think it didn't sway my purchase decision. I'm still getting the game no matter what. It's just, I personally didn't like it how the internet kind of just, they're now totally, totally jumping onto the fact, and jumping on the hate train, as you would say, and just undermining the game to the point where if there was anything creative with the game, it's pretty much almost dwindled to the scattering fans left who are actually interested in the game.
Yeah, and I think the review embargo is actually up the day before.
Yeah, it's up on Thursday, so all the reviews will come out.
That's when we'll start seeing all the big reviews.
And in actuality, NeoGAF, most of the majority of people on NeoGAF who actually have the game, they've all said it's actually a pretty good game. And then, even in retrospect to what this article is about, where there's this 5-6 hour gameplay from this one guy, he actually also said the game was pretty good and he would recommend it. It's just that people have now turned it doesn't matter if the game is good or not. That's not even the whole point about it. It's the length. People are now determining that length makes a good game. Length determines if it's worth your money. And it's just weird. It's just odd to me.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's really weird when I see people concentrate on that so much, because it just seems to, I don't know what it is. I don't, because some games will come out and nobody ever comments. Far Cry 4, you could probably beat the game if you just played straight through the story fairly quickly. But that's not what people do. I don't. With The Order, it's not a game that's about rushing through it. Based on what I played, I mean, it's about the atmosphere. It's about the story. Sure. It's about what's going on. It's about the shooting sequences.
You're trying to indulge the atmosphere and everything. Like I don't know.
It's always interesting to see where gameplay starts becoming an issue. I know some people will complain, every year about Call of Duty's, their campaign or 5 hours or whatever, but they get it for the multiplayer or something like that. I mean, it's honestly for a third-person shooter type game. I mean, 10, 12 hours. That's kind of on the lengthy side. I mean, look at Tomb Raider. it's right around that length. It is really, really good. Personally, I really liked when I was playing it because I was kind of expecting 5 to 7 hours or something like that, but the campaign just kept going and going and going, and I really liked that about it. It was a nice surprise to see that, oh hey, this is kind of I'm getting like 10 or 12 hours out of this at the least. So I really for a third-person action adventure-ish game with shooting elements and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that's kind of the sweet spot. If they can, if that's going to be a typical first playthrough. If you're one to rush through games, which I'm not, then maybe it's not for you. But I personally, I take my time. I look at everything. I tend to explore a little bit. I don't go crazy like some people, but not every game's going to be Dragon Age.
Yeah, not every game has to be long. Like, there's some people, whenever you actually go into games like this, they actually like indulge in like what I said earlier, they indulge in the atmosphere, and they look around and look at all the books, and they talk to all the characters, and they try and collect everything. And each person's playthrough in regards to games are different from each other, and that we're all not all the same. Like as for you, like you love Final Fantasy, and you can play hours and hours on end on that. Whereas for like some other people, like for me as a parent who has kids, like I actually appreciate a game not being too long. That way I can enjoy the experience from the game, and that if I want to go back and play it and like collect all the trophies, or if I want to try and find all the collectibles that I missed, I can, and I'll have time to do so. So my perspective is where not all games have to be the same. Like they don't have to have these, like you said, Dragon Age length of time frame. It doesn't have to be like that. Like not every game has to be super long. And I mean, take for instance Alien Isolation. That's an excellent game, fantastic. It's totally single player, and of course they included DLC later on in the future. That's besides the point. Like some people actually felt that the game was too long, and there was too much padding.
Yeah, and I did see that in the reviews I had seen about that, and I thought that was an interesting way to see it. And I could kind of understand when they were talking about the length compared to the subject. Like, it's a tense game. And I can kind of see that getting a little monotonous after a while. After you spend, 20 hours or whatever doing it. I mean, to me, I expected that to be a 12 to 15 hour game tops. But I think the IGN review was talking like 20 to 25 hours.
Yeah, it was a really long game.
That's kind of crazy for how, for the type of game that is.
So, I don't know. I'm still getting it Friday. No one is. I'm hoping that people just take a chance at the game, because it could be that next big hit that people are just, that sleeper hit that no one is even expecting to like. Wolfenstein. No one expected that game to be good. Wolfenstein has been subpar, almost okay. Well, as for this new one that came out, that one was a surprise. No one was expecting that. Like South Park. People thought no one could make a good South Park game because they've all been awful. And then all of a sudden,
games usually are, yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it was actually really good. Like the same thing with The Order. Everyone, if you look at almost all the past articles, all of them have been bad. People have been downplaying it, saying it's QTE fest. That's all you're doing, QTEs constantly, which I have no idea where they're getting that from. And then
the demos.
And then they're saying like imagine if Metal Gear Solid was treated the same way. Like mostly everyone jokes all the time that Metal Gear Solid, you're mostly watching a movie instead of playing a game. But like the experience that you're getting, the story that you're getting, the characters you're getting to enjoy, the atmosphere that you're experiencing, just the overall package, it just feels different. It feels fresh. It feels like it's not your norm title. It doesn't have to be your norm title. It doesn't. Like Metal Gear Solid 4 was fantastic all the way from the beginning to the end, and like that thing, I know that game eventually got Metal Gear Online or whatever you want to call it, but like originally that game did not, and it was fantastic, and at the same time it was short. Like I think the average playthrough was 2 to 3 hours and you could beat the game. So like I just wish people would get off the length of a title. It doesn't it doesn't determine if it's worth someone's money, and it doesn't determine if it's worth someone's time.
Yeah, and there are people who be like, hey, you could beat it in a weekend, blah blah blah, and I just do not play games that way anymore.
I don't.
It's
I don't have
very
time.
rare for me to actually get on a game like I have on Final Fantasy or something like that. I'll probably space the order out over, a couple of weeks or maybe a month, just because I have a feeling that's one that the wife is going to want to watch. She really liked what she saw in the demo. It's not something I think she would play, but she'll probably want to watch me play it. So, we always joke that they're game movies because of the PlayStation commercial from forever ago. I showed her that and she started laughing and she said, well, now we'll call them game movies. So, I expect that'll be one game where she'll probably want to watch me play it, just to see, how it goes and all that. So, I don't see myself, playing it through in a weekend. I'll probably play a decent bit of it, but it's not going to be something that I'm super, I don't like to rush through it. I don't want to. I used to do it all the time, and now I just don't. I don't like doing it. But yeah, unless you guys have something else, I think we're done.
All right.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
The Order 1886.
And let's see. I'm trying to get this thing to close. Sorry, people.